What's going on, everyone? So Jarred Vanderbilt, we've all been kind of wondering what is happening with Jarred Vanderbilt. Why isn't Jarred Vanderbilt playing, right? Like, it's got to be more than the three-point shooting, because it's not like Gabe Vincent shooting the lights out from three. I have talked about how when all of the three-point kind of noise started to happen was right around the time where JJ started giving Jarred Vanderbilt those DNPs. Right? There was a little talk about it, obviously, in the offseason and all that stuff, but like it really got like light shined on it, right? Like, it really the Thunder game, right? And then the last few games, it just really got highlighted. And then Jarred Vanderbilt kind of got pushed to the wayside. Makes sense that they would start Max Kleba, Gabe Vincent, two guys just shoot the ball better, right? Lakers want as much shooting alongside Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron as possible. They're kind of trying to go with the lob. Right? Basically what you had in Dallas. You got the lob threat center, and then you got the shooters and the two-way guys. Problem is Lakers just don't have the two-way guys. You need the athleticism and two-way guys. But that's kind of the idea. You have Luka, Kyrie, two athletic 3-and-D wings, and then you got that lob threat. It's what the Lakers are trying to kind of do, right? Like you have Luka, Austin Reeves, trying to have the two-way guys and then the athletic center, right? So again, it's odd though, because it's like everything this team needs is what Jarred Vanderbilt is. It's what Jarred Vanderbilt does. He rebounds, he defends, he hustles, he grits. He's the guy that is chasing down loose balls. Like, yes, offensively, he's a liability there, but he does so much positive for this team. The impact out there, he hasn't been as good defensively as he has been in previous years, right? Or even in the preseason. He looked every bit like 2023 Jarred Vanderbilt in the preseason. It was like, wow, like Lakers could be trouble here. And he hasn't been able to really kind of tap into that, which, he did have that little injury where we were all like kind of like, ooh, and it was like, what, like the fifth game or whatever, third game, like, so that's something. Also, again, he hasn't played very consistently, so it's hard to really find that footing, find that rhythm when you're getting DMPs and playing 3 minutes, right? I mean, he's not even getting garbage time. But JJ Redick recently, and this is something that I've been talking about, like the biggest issue is we have like zero insight, right? We don't know anything about why this is happening. So we're all just kind of have these speculations going on and playing in our heads and trying to figure out why is this happening? Why is Jarred Vanderbilt not playing? We're all trying to kind of navigate this own thing. But like in reality, none of us know. And none of us could pick up the phone and call JJ or Rob or whatever, right? Like, so it's like, is it trades? Is it, is he really just out of the rotation? Is it an injury that we just don't know about? Are they trying to keep him and they keeping him out of the spotlight so they don't have to trade him? What is the deal? Well, JJ Redick, like I mentioned, gave us a little bit of insight, not like anything crazy, but here's what JJ had to say. He's been good. He's been a pro. He's been great in the most recent Stay Ready that we had this week. He was great. He's been a great teammate, so no surprise there. I communicated to him before LeBron came back that there were certain things that he needed to be able to do consistently to play before LeBron came back, after LeBron came back, and that there was potentially going to be a number crunch because we probably were going to play a 9-man rotation. And that was just the reality. Having said that, it doesn't mean that he's not going to be back in the rotation at some point, whether we're healthy or whether we're missing a couple guys. When you're winning games, it's hard to redo the rotation mid-winning streak. So we're looking at everything, and there were some lineup combinations when we were injured that we had to go away from. And he was, I guess, caught up in this sort of innocent bystander in some ways with that. But I certainly have empathy for him, and it's not an easy situation to be in as a coach, and certainly not a fun situation for him to be as a player. So JJ Redick basically just summarizes that he's basically the odd man out. Is essentially what that boils down to, right? He did say that Jarred Vanderbilt has looked good and is doing well in the stay readies, right? Which is basically practices for all of the end of the rotation guys. Right? A lot of two-way guys play, a lot of end of the bench rotation guys play. Like the guys that aren't getting like Dalton Connect, Jarred Vanderbilt, Bronny James, guys like that, Do Thero, right? They're doing like the stay ready practices, right? So to me, what this tells me is that a couple things that I've talked about, right? One, you got everybody back. You're winning. It's more of the argument that I've made with Rui Hachimura in the starting unit. As much as I'm not a fan of it, as much as I want Rui to come off the bench, I think that the Lakers should start a Jarred Vanderbilt or something like that. It's really hard when you're on a 7-game win streak to start changing things. It's really hard when you're like, I do agree that, he's like, hey, when you're winning a bunch of games, it's hard to be like, hey, we need to change the rotation and get this guy in. I'm like, no, guys are, you want to reward the guys that are getting it done. So I do get that to an extent, right? I still think that there's more going on than that. Again, that might just be in my little tinfoil hat. First one to admit it, right? We all got our little theories and conspiracies and stuff, right? Like, put my tinfoil hat on. I still think that there's more going on, right? I think whether it's the trade front or whatever, we will see. But I do think that there's more going on. He doesn't say it's because of lack of shooting or anything like that, right? Like he just says basically Jarred Vanderbilt got caught in the crossfire, right? That there was a lot of different lineups and rotations, a lot of experimentation that JJ wanted to do that he wasn't able to do early on because Maxi Kleber, Gabe Vincent, LeBron James, all these guys were out. So now's the time to kind of look at it, which again kind of goes into my highlighting argument, right? Now, he didn't necessarily say he's highlighting them necessarily for trades, but it's odd that the guys that are playing above Jarred Vanderbilt, when Jarred Vanderbilt is exactly the guy we need, the guys that are playing above him are the two guys expected most likely to be traded. You're highlighting them. You want them to look good. You want them to play good. You want to like, hey, look, they're in a rotation. Hey, look, they're even starting some nights, blah, 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 blah. So that we, like lose them for nothing, right? So I do kind of think that. But then there's also an argument to be made of like, yes, like, talk about it every offseason. Teams like to experiment early on. JJ Redick is going to experiment, the first 20 games or whatever with different lineups and blah, 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 blah. Well, problem is, again, half those guys that you would experiment with all weren't playing. So now that they are playing, it's like, now's your experiment. So somebody has to be the odd man out while you're experimenting with different things. And, I've talked about like Jarred Vanderbilt at some point is going to play if he's on the roster. It's just, I do think that this is accurate, but I don't think it's 100% the story, right? Like, I think what JJ said checks out. I think what JJ is saying is true. I just think that there's more to it than that. Like they're not giving away every detail. Again, I could be wrong. My tinfoil hat. I'm not in the front office. I can't call anybody. I'm just a guy on the internet. I don't have sources. I don't have anything. So I could be completely wrong. I think there's more to it than this. But anyways, always, this is a discussion. I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. Enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.